President Joe Biden warned Chinese leader Xi Jinping on Friday about the consequences China would face if it offers material support for Russia in its war in Ukraine. Quote, President Biden detailed our efforts to prevent and then respond to the invasion, including by imposing costs on Russia. He described the implications and consequences if China provides material support to Russia as it conducts brutal attacks against Ukrainian cities and civilians, closed quote. The White House said in a readout of the two leaders' call that lasted just shy of 2 hours. The statement is not specific about what those consequences could entail. China previously said that it wants to avoid being tangled up in U.S. sanctions on Russia, and there would be immense pressure to sanction China directly if Beijing were to provide weapons or aid to Russia. But the United States and China are much more closely connected than the U.S. and Russia, which could make imposing sanctions extraordinarily difficult. Beijing began to release its side of the call before the Biden and Xi conversation even ended, and a foreign affairs spokesperson largely reiterated what has become China's fine line of decrying violence in Ukraine without forcefully condemning Russia. They said, quote, the more complex the situation, the greater need to remain cool-headed and rational. Whatever the circumstances, there is always a need for political courage to create space for peace and leave room for political settlement. This comes from Hua Shenyang. Before Friday's call, Secretary of State Antony Blinken said the United States was concerned about China following through with assistance. He said, quote, we're concerned that they're considering directly assisting Russia with military equipment to use in Ukraine, close quote. And he continues with, President Biden will be speaking to President Xi tomorrow and will make clear that China will bear responsibility for any actions it takes to support Russia's aggression, and we will not hesitate to impose costs. For Headlines with a Voice, this is Felicia Lockhart.